play the game, Would You Rather? You ever play that game? The boys are big on that game. They love doing that. They love asking you these questions, and trying to come up with these, answers and why it would be so. So let me ask you a question in terms of like superheroes. That usually is the vein in which they're asking these questions. Like for example, superpowers. Would you rather have super strength or super speed? How many super strength? Super strength. How about super speed? Anybody super speed? A couple super speed, right? How about this? Would you rather have like a hammer like Thor or the rope like Wonder Woman? Hammer like Thor. Anybody? Hammer like Thor. Rope like Wonder Woman? And all the women make it. How many have a favorite superhero besides Dean? Look back there at Dean. Above Dean, look above him. Captain America. Captain America. I think Dean thinks he's Captain America. Wow. Did you ever think about, what would be, I was driving yesterday, and I said, Michelle, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? She thought about it just for about 10 seconds. She said, fly. I said, really, fly? Why? She goes, can I go to Florida anytime I want? I'm in Florida. I was like, I get that. How about this one? I thought a good one we have is invisibility. But then I thought, when you get to be my age, you're pretty much invisible anyways. You know what I mean? Like, no one sees you. You just kind of just disappear into the woodwork. And then I thought, one was, I read about this one. This would be a great one for me to have. I don't know about you, but total control over animals. I would love that. My animals are just out of control. Another one is shape-shifting or time travel. These are these superpowers. We all kind of think about those things and wonder what we'd like to have those. What if I were to tell you that, in fact, you have a superpower? First off, would you believe me? Would you believe that you have a superpower? And you'd be thinking, what does it mean that I have a superpower? And do you have any idea what that superpower might be? Maybe you're thinking things in your head right now. Let me tell you a little about the superpower, okay? With this superpower, you are, by exercising this superpower, you're capable of improving almost every aspect of your life. That's a good thing, isn't it? With this one superpower that you possess, without a doubt you possess it. The question is, are you using it? But you're able to improve almost every single aspect of your lives. This superpower is so potent, it virtually guarantees a better life. Isn't that amazing? It guarantees a better life. You will flourish when you use this superpower. But not just you. Those around you will flourish when you use this superpower. It's powerful enough to affect behaviors of your friends. But not just the behavior of your friends, the behavior of your friends' friends. Are you intrigued yet? With this superpower? Studies have shown that when you use this superpower, you have increased energy, you have increased empathy, and you have increased happiness. You ever feel down? Do you ever feel lethargic? Do you ever have just a lack of just general compassion or joy in your life? This superpower is the solution to those things. Think about this superpower too. It's regenerative. In other words, the more you use it, the more you get of it. Sounds great, doesn't it? Watch this. It's been shown that the results are conclusive. As conclusive as the link between exercise and health. Who would doubt that if you exercise, you're going to have better health? Anybody doubt that? No one doubts that, right? This superpower and the benefits of the superpower are as conclusive as that. Or as indisputable or undisputable as the relationship between sleep and mental alertness. Now here's the amazing thing. The amazing thing is people, they just don't believe it. Or maybe they believe it. It's kind of like this. My friend Bill back there, he takes, what's the temperature of water, Bill? 50 degrees. 50 degrees. He gets in a cold bath, cold thing every single morning. Jamie has to witness it every single morning because I witness it. There's Speedo. I don't know if it was Speedo. I don't know. But when I was when I was down in Florida, my friend has a ministry. He has a sauna, and I would get in the sauna, and directly out of the sauna go up to 140 degrees. Now he has a pool down there, but it's not a heated pool, water is cold. Right out of the sauna, jump into the cold water. Wow, what a shock to your body. Now it's one thing when you have your body temperature is normal. When your body's superheated, you have to be in that 140 degree for 40 minutes. Jump in that water, wow, what a shock. But it makes you just feel so alive. Now, here's the thing. Bill can tell you all the benefits of that cold bath. I mean, they are enormous, right? And I'll tell you, these are the benefits of it. Go do it. How many of you are going to do it? Oh, man, but there's so much benefit in it. You know, during the summer, I take a cold shower. But the wintertime, I get up, man, it's just, I want to do it, right? My mind's willing, but my body's saying, no, you're not getting in that shower. This superpower actually, it seems kind of old school. Listen, with the amount of academic research that's been done about this superpower and the steady stream of popular press and the wisdom of the ages, because what we're going to do is we're going to talk all about the superpower this week, and next week we're going to show how the Bible, long before it became trendy, talked about the superpower that all of us possess. That'll be next week. But for the vast majority of us, this superpower is just sitting there. It's just sitting there. It's impotent. All because we just don't use it. Because it's kind of old school, it's kind of not exciting. And it's so easy to think that, you know, you kind of think in your head, well, maybe research just kind of got it wrong, or they're just overstating the benefits of this superpower. Now, to be sure, this superpower is a virtue, actually. This superpower, on the surface, it may look simple. However, it's pretty complex, and we'll try to get into that a little bit as we shift in a deeper examination of it. So, what is a superpower? You want to know what it is? Yeah. You can leave. Rick, would you escort him out of the building? The superpower is generosity. Generosity. You probably didn't imagine that we all possess it. And the benefits of it are unbelievable. Generosity is the belief that we, listen to this. Generosity is an inward belief that we have something of value to give others. And that we can give it freely and easily. That's it. Pretty straightforward. Pretty simple. Yet this definition of generosity, it implies a few things. Let me talk about some kind of things that it implies. It implies something I talk about a lot, and that is this, of taking a personal inventory of your life, of your time, of your energy, of your relationships, of your financial resources, of your professional talents. It implies having a clearly understanding all those resources that hopefully you've been cultivating in your life, a full understanding of those. And then not just that, the next thing would be to assign a value to those things. Now this is all kind of behind the scenes in your mind, right? We don't do it really, maybe we should do it thoughtfully. But assign value to those resources. And then decide that these resources that you have, that your time has meaning to it, that your time has value. And it's important enough to share it. And not just use it, now all those resources, not just use it for yourselves, but use it for others. Now, we need to become or at least maintain a certain state of self-awareness, but also be aware of others around you. Be aware of where they are in their life. to the point that you're able to see and understand their lack, their need, and appreciate where they are in their life. Now, this relationship between giving and receiving is paradoxical, right? What do you say? At least on the surface. Why is that? Well, when you give something away, it seems like, on the surface, it seems like if I have something, as a matter of fact, I have something right here. I was with Pete one time, and he pulled this out. I said, wow, I really like that. And I wish I would have said it about his truck, but I said it about this. And he gave it to me. He gave me this pocket knife. How many carry a pocket knife? I always carry a pocket knife with me. You know, old school guys carry a pocket knife. And I said, wow, I really like that. So on the surface, it seems like Pete had this knife. He gave it to me. Now he's the one that has lack. He's the one that doesn't have it, and I now have a pocket knife. If you spend an hour with somebody discussing their life and their situation, right, and make it about them, it's like, well, you lost an hour of your life that you could have been concentrating on yourself. You could spend that hour on yourself. Likewise, doesn't giving away $100 cause your wallet to be lighter of $100, right? On the surface, that's what it looks like. That's what giving looks. That's what being generous looks like. And it's not just a word. I was sitting there thinking about this, and when my friend called me and told me about his wife, and I said, would it be appropriate for me to call her? And he said, probably not, but she texts. So I said, okay. So I sat there and I thought a little bit about, what I would say in a text to her, I'm not going to say what I said, but I just sat there and thought about it for a minute. And one thing I dislike personally, and if you like it, that's fine. So this is the personal thing. I hate little Christianese, little pithy little sayings and stuff like that. There's people just say kind of, I don't know if they mean it or not, but I really don't like that. But these are some of those sayings, okay? I was thinking about this. And it sounds like, that's something you say. Like this, in giving we receive. Ever heard that before? In giving we receive. Or it's better to give than to receive. That's kind of like, I remember, remember whose parents used the phrase, this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. When you're a kid, you're going, you're just lying. You're just lying to me is all you're doing. There's no way. I know it's going to hurt me far more. But when you become an adult, you kind of understand that, right? It's true. It's true that we mostly live by airplane wisdom. Airplane wisdom. What I mean by that is this. Airplane wisdom is this. You've heard it every time you got an airplane. Put on your mask first before what? Before helping others. Don't we kind of live by airplane wisdom? Right? This idea that you can't care for others until you care for yourself first. Right? And sounds, yeah, that's right. And so we kind of live by that. The thing is, though, and we'll look at it next week, and we're looking at the research this week, the research suggests, and the Bible suggests, the opposite is true. But it doesn't feel like it, does it? It just doesn't feel like it. How can generosity, giving to others, benefit us so directly? Listen to this. The University of Notre Dame, we have a friend at the club, he's a graduate of Notre Dame, and it says this, that they have an entire academic center on the science of generosity at Notre Dame. Can you believe that? An entire center dedicated to the research of generosity. It says, fighting for a more generous world by bringing a host of disciplines together to determine the cause, mechanism, consequences of generosity. Here are some outcomes of generosity. Generous people are more likely to be. This is research. Now again, we'll get to the Bible next week, right? Generous people tend to be happier and healthier. Healthier. It's like, and that's what in Notre Dame, this whole center is dedicated on understanding this. How is it that me being generous affects my physical well-being? you're less likely to be depressed if you're generous. You're more likely to live with a deep sense of purpose. Harvard Business School, Professor Michael Norton, and the University of British Columbia psychology professor Elizabeth Dunn narrowed their focus to just financial generosity. Their findings. Here's their findings. You ready for this? Money can buy happiness. Money can buy happiness. Just as long as we spend the money on somebody else. Listen to this. Now, it might seem obvious to you that if you buy some... Matter of fact, where's Jamie at? Jamie's right there. Jamie talked about buying a gift or whatever. It's kind of like, it seems like it's a selfless thing, giving, but the benefits that you have, how many know about the benefits that you have, right? How many of you, when you have kids, you'd much rather see your kids opening up the gifts you got them than the gifts they got you. You want to see that look on their face and the benefit that you get from that. Well, that's true. However, in their book, Happy Money, Norton and Dunn discovered something far more interesting. Something that I think just might change all of us forever. They had an experiment. And they had multiple experiments. Let me talk about some of the experiments they had. They gave money to like intramural sports clubs. They gave money to sales teams. Mac, pay attention to this. Sales teams. You can give money to your sales team. And just randomly chosen individuals, okay? So this research they're doing is they gave them money. And they said this, some were given money and they said, you can spend it freely on whatever you want. No, you get to spend it during a certain period of time. And others were given the freedom to spend the money on whatever they want as long as it was spent on somebody else, okay? Two groups, massive amounts of people involved in this. Each had to spend money just this period of time. Here's the findings. Now, I know, because I read them too, and I go, oh yeah, that could be, a bunch of different things, but they did this over and over again, not just in this country, but in multiple countries. The sales team that took the money that they were given and spent on other people, they excelled in their sales over the other teams. I know what's going on with your mind. The sports teams were more successful than the other ones. They won more games than those who spent the money on themselves. Individuals and groups said they felt closer to their friends and their colleagues when they gave to others, even people that they didn't know. Finally, Norton and Dunn found this to be true all over the world. Listen, there's a Gallup World Poll of 136 countries between 2006 and 2008. 200,000 respondents completed surveys on a range of issues relating to generosity and satisfaction in life. 120 out of the 136 countries, respondents who gave money away were happier through this survey. In fact, it said people felt as happy giving money away as they did about the increase in household income. Let that just sink in for a minute. Let me read it again. People felt as happy giving money away as they did about an increase in household income. The relationship held up even after controlling household incomes. Across the 136 countries, donating to a charity had similar relationships to happiness as doubling a household income. Isn't that amazing? Let me read something to you. This is from Psychology Today. It says, what we're thankful for is important. How many know that? What you're thankful for is very important. We should be thankful. But what we give to others to be thankful for is even more important. So what we give to others for them to be thankful for is more important. How many know how important being thankful is? Being thankful is extremely important. To understand, where you are in this world, where you are in this life, to be thankful for everything that you have. Thankful for just every little thing. Thankful for the health that you have, right? Generosity is no longer a selfless act we've long thought it to be. Studies have shown that one of the biggest benefactors of generosity is the person who is dishing it out. like a healthy diet, exercise, and good genes, generosity increases your lifespan. 2003 research study at the University of Michigan, and I know it's Michigan, but still, I think we get stuff from there, reveals that the positive effects of generosity include improve one's mental and physical. That's what blows me away. Mental, I get that. Don't you get that? That's kind of like, yeah, that makes sense to me. But affects your physical health. And that's what a lot of this research is going into right now. That's what Notre Dame is studying right now. Why is this true? Physical health and promoting longevity. Another Michigan study, which traced 2,700 people over 10 years. Researchers found that men who did regular volunteer work had death rates 2.5 times lower than men who didn't. Generosity reduces stress, supports one's immune system, and enhances one's sense of purpose. It goes on and on and on. Now, here's the thing. You can do with what you want. You can say, well, I don't know. You know that, I very rarely talk about money in here. And I'll tell you why. Let me tell you this for something about me first. This may shock you. And this may shock you, but I'm not perfect. Yeah. I know. Can we go back to that church anymore? Pastor's not perfect. But, growing up, my mother was involved in a church, and in my mind, this pastor that she was with, my dad died, and she had all of insurance money. And in my mind, she was fleeced by the church. That's the way I see it. And so because of that, I bring my own baggage to the ministry that I have. And so I kind of avoid talking about these kinds of things. I don't want to be that person, you know what I mean? But I think I've done a disservice because, this stuff is, real. You know what I mean? You read the Bible, that's true in the Bible. You see the research, you go, wow, there's something to this. Now, although I see it that way, my mother didn't see it that way. She gave out of just a generous heart. That's what she gave. And so, I just saw, anyway, I won't get into all that. So I bring my own baggage, and so I avoid these kind of things, right? But I think it's important for us to understand. Number one, I belong to the country club, right? And I love going to the country club. I love golfing. Listen, if I don't pay my dues, guess what's going to happen to the club? Well, they're going to kick me out. But if all of us don't pay our dues, what's going to happen? The club's going to close. I can no longer participate in this thing that I get pleasure from, I get benefit from. Do you follow me? Right? It's the same with the church. A lot of people, kind of follow an Old Testament kind of line about tithing at 10%. I'm not going to do this whole thing. But Paul says something like this. Paul says, on the first day of the week, set aside a sum of money and keep it with your income. Well, just think about that for a minute. The first day of the week kind of sounds systematic, doesn't it? So people say, well, I don't understand about it. Well, one thing it should be systematic. First day of the week. Systematic. Now, you pick out the system, but the principle is it's systematic, right? Set aside a sum of money. Doesn't say how much. Set aside something. You decide, right? You purpose in your heart a certain amount of money. Now, that's how that goes along with generosity here, right? Set aside some money in keeping with your income. I love that part. I love that Paul included that. Because why? Sometimes your income goes up. Sometimes it goes down. So it's not that you keep giving, keeping with your income. So it's proportionate, isn't it? Proportionate means kind of a percentage. Now, people say things like, in Malachi, in the book of Malachi, it talks about tithing, which if you study tithing in the Old Testament, tithing always had to do with food, never money. As a matter of fact, one time if you were to take your tithe to Jerusalem, it was your livestock. And you had too much to travel with. It said, sell it and get money. Right? Sell your tithe, sell that, get money, and then when you go, buy back and then celebrate the tithe. So there's a lot you can study about this, but it was never money. It was always this thing. It was never 10%. It was a tenth. So a shepherd, for example, would take his rod, and as his sheep would pass underneath his rod, every 10th sheep he would pull aside. You follow me? Every 10th sheep would pull aside. As 20 came by, there was 2. As 30 came by, there was 3. As 40 came by, there was 4. If there's 48, there's still 4. You follow me? Every 10th one, whether it was grain or whatever. And so the point isn't that it's this fixed amount. The point is you fix the amount. You do. You get to choose. I read this article as I was studying for this. It said that across all churches, now, a lot of churches preach 10%, give 10%, right? And they say Malachi says give 10%, and if you don't, you're robbing God. Notice the 10% is God's. And I have a problem with that myself. Because the 10% implies that that's God's. Whose is the 90%? Mine. That's what it implies. Okay, I give God 10%. Now 90 I can do whatever I want with. That's not biblical at all. Biblically, it's this. It's all God's. You know, use it wisely. Right? Use it wisely, not foolishly. That's a biblical principle. Not 10% is God. Once God gets his, you go, okay, you can do whatever you want now. I don't care. I got mine. That's not biblical. Biblical is all God's. What will you do with it? What will you do with the resource that God gave you? And we see through modern research and through Scripture the benefits of being generous. Right? God knows the benefits of that. So he sets it up that way. You know, you should study the giving in the Old Testament. Giving was done on, you take a portion of the first fruits, like your first harvest. There were second harvests, right? First harvest is about what? About sustenance. Second harvest is about what? Excess or plenty. No, you don't give out your excess or plenty. You give out your sustenance. You follow me? There's a great principle behind this. The principle is this, is that I know in whom I rely. You know, when I was working before we became missionaries, I was a carpenter, and you know, I would pay lip service to God being my provider, right? And then we became missionaries, and we had to travel around to different churches and speak, and we our support came from churches and individuals. And I remember thinking one time, well, this is what faith really is. You know, because I have no idea. Because before, I had the hammer in my hand. I go out and work a little harder, right? Make a little more money. You know that too, right? Work a little harder, make another deal, whatever it is. And I'm kind of doing this. And I remember, I don't know, I didn't hear a voice or anything, but I remember distinctly sitting there thinking that it wasn't true. There was always faith. I had the faith that I would keep the health in order to go and be able to work. See, it was always God being my provider. I paid lip service to it, but really I thought, well, it's really kind of me. I mean, I'm the one out there doing it. But one for all the things that God gave me, I wouldn't be able to do that. And so I got a different perspective. I go, no, it really is all God's. It really is all His. We had a director and his wife with Wycliffe, and I'll tell you a quick story, and I don't have a lot of come up here in a minute. We were in Texas, and it was August in Texas. How many have been in Texas in August? Okay. Major hot, right? And the heater core went out on our car. We had a Volvo with almost 400,000 miles on it. That was crazy. And the heater core went out on it. And so we're getting ready. It's getting August and August. What's that for? August, September, October. We're getting ready to kind of come back to Pennsylvania. It's wintertime. I'm thinking, Michelle, we're going to need heat when we get back there. So I said, okay, I think I could probably do this. We were in a little apartment or whatever. I'm out in the parking lot disassembling you have to get to the heater core from the inside of your car because there's a firewall. You can't come to the engine. You got to go this way. You got to go through the dashboard. So I'm taking things apart and I'm setting things out there. You know what I mean? And pretty soon I so spread. I'm going, I don't think I can put this thing back together. I'm not even halfway in there yet to the heater core. And I'm thinking, oh man, I am in serious trouble. And somebody comes up and says, hey Jeff, put that car back together. I said, yeah, easier said than done. I put it back together. Call this guy. This guy's going to fix your car. I said, I don't have the money. No, someone's paying for it. Someone's paying for it. And the tune of probably $1,500, $2,000. I don't know what it was. I'm imagining that's what it was. And fixed it. And it wasn't until years later that I really came to understand who that was. And that was my director and his wife. Let me tell you how they live. I've probably shared it before, but They sat down and I'm not suggesting that everybody do this. That's not what I mean by this. I'm just saying there's other ways to live life. That's all I mean by this. And we have to all find out our own path. And they sat down and they said, we need money for ministry, we need money for travel, because they're directors of travel. And with Wycliffe or SIL, you paid your own way. You were going to go to visit a missionary. No one paid. You paid to go. They're directors. They had to go to these different countries. So they put all that stuff down there, all the expenses they're going to need, along with the retirement. Put a modest sum away to a 401k or whatever it was for retirement. And I think that total came to, it was under $50,000, believe it or not. And what they decided in their life was this. This is our budget, God. This is what we need. We believe that you will provide our means. You'll provide it for us. We believe that, and we trust you for it. So much so that if more comes in than that amount, we'll reason that you want us to be conduits of your resources and not receptacles. More comes in, I'll stash it away and put more away for us. No, we'll say this is what we need. We're going to believe you for what we need. Anything more, we'll see it as we are in your service to do whatever you need. And so they said, whatever comes in more, we will give it away. And Michelle and I were beneficiaries of that, right, Michelle? They fixed her. And I know countless times they did it in Africa and different places, right? It's just another way to live life, another way to understand what this is, what we're doing with this. What are we doing through this life, right? How are we living this life? That all being said, I want to ask Lionel to come up here. I need a mic for Lionel. Is Dean back there? Michelle, which one should I grab here?
Mine is behind us, on the floor.
On the floor?
Behind the monitor.
We need a woman up here to find this thing. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Oh, you hid behind there. Oh, okay.
I heard it fell off.
Okay.
It's number 2.
Number 2. So you have to hold it kind of close to your mouth. So Lionel does something every year, and I'll let you talk about it. I'll kind of interview a little bit. God, you're big. You're down there, you look small. He is involved with a couple different things. One is, I think you started this toy drive, right?
Yes.
Started a toy drive, and last year we participated a little bit, but along with what I'm saying, Lionel, I really want us to be a major, majorly involved in what you're doing. Why don't you share a little bit about how you came up with that idea and what it is and how you're doing it, where it goes, all that kind of stuff.
This will be our 4th year of doing our annual toy drive. A friend of mine, Dion, came up with the idea. Just to give back to the community. I actually grew up in Homestead, and that's where a lot of my properties are now. I know the lack there, so we tried to fill that gap with giving children toys. So the first year, him and I just purchased them ourselves and had a couple people donate. And as it keeps growing. This year, 4th year, we have the Homestead Fire Department involved. Callista Electric came on and donated 400 toys. They used to get the Toys for Tots, they're now doing it with us. So it's growing rapidly every year, and we would appreciate all participation. We could take donations of toys, money donations, anything like that, donations of your time if you'd like to come help. But it's growing. I think last year we did 160 families we helped, something like that. So we're expecting.
So tell us the logistics about it a little bit. We would bring the toys here, we'd deliver them to you somewhere else, or?
However you do it, we would make it work. But you can bring them here. You can drop them off at my house. You can bring them down that day. The sooner the better, so we know how many we have for families and everything. But
and what's the date of the giveaway?
It's December 17th, Saturday, December 17th.
December 17th.
Yes, from 10 to 12. The way it works is this year we have a QR code on our advertisement, which I don't think we have. But if you go to Vico Properties Facebook page, there's a QR code, and all they do is scan that, and they can register.
You'll get me that for next week. I'll have it on my notes next week. They can do that on that, okay?
Yeah. So any families no matter where they are, they can participate. Now they're going to have to come to Homestead to get the toys on the 17th to the fire department.
16th, December 16th.
16th, I'm sorry, 17th is the place, 16th. Yeah. So you'll have to come there to receive the toys. but anybody can participate. Anybody who you know who needs help or anything, please
You
encourage them.
were like a heat factory, aren't you?
Yeah. But anybody,
Should they be wrapped?
no, not right, no, because we let the parents come and get them, and they act as if they're from them, right? You know, they come and collect their stuff, wrap it, and give it to the kids.
So talk to me for a minute about volunteering down there with you.
Yeah, so it's from 10 to 12 is the giveaway, because we have it pretty well registered to where the families register. We tell them what time to come. They come in, they get their time. So that's 10 to 12. We get there around 8 o'clock. So anybody who would want to come help set up the toys, do things like that. We're actually going to be there the evening before at the firehouse setting up as well. So anybody who'd be interested in that, we'd be more than happy to have you.
Pete, maybe we can look at the men participating in something like that, to live, twice as long as the other men that don't.
Yeah, so I mean, it started off giving back to the community where I was raised, and it is growing and growing, so we're getting more people. My buddy and I both own a lot of rental properties, so we extended to our tenants that, that's who our main base is the tenants that we provide housing to. We know their situations up close and personal, so, being that we live in abundance, we like to give back.
Right, so. Okay, so there's something else that we kind of participated in last year. I know less about this, so talk to us about this food thing again.
Yeah, so it's called the Food Basket of Love giveaway, and a guy named Joe McCann, he's also born and raised in Homestead, came up with this 11 years ago now, and he's a produce guy. That's what he does. He sells produce for a living. So he gets Dole and Sunkist and all those big companies that donate. I mean, it's like unheard of the amount of food that's there. It's in Barrett Elementary School, the whole gym. They bring 18-wheelers and just drop off all this donated food, and he gives it away. It's all vegetables, non-perishable canned goods, things like that. Basically everything you need for a holiday meal except for the meat is given away.
So last year, what Lionel did, someone have a towel or something? Sorry. I'm sitting here watching you sweat and be miserable, think, holy smoke. So last year, what he did is, you brought a bunch of food here.
Yes.
We put that in the kitchen, and whoever wanted to grab some or whatever. But what I'd like to try to do, well, we can still do that as well, but to think about families that that may be in need in that way, that we can bless somebody that way. So we could, kind of be a conduit. We could take some of this free food that he has, bring it here or whatever, go get it, and then distribute it around. Because we've done some things like that in the past. For Thanksgiving, we had a turkey giveaway. We went, and that was a tremendous, I think, a blessing for our whole church when we did that. And I want to continue to do that kind of stuff.
Actually, now that you say that, that's what kind of got me started, right? So we did that here this year.
Yeah.
And then I went and bought a bunch of turkeys for my tenants after
Did you?
that same year. And the next year, we decided to do Christmas instead of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So it did kind of spark my interest in giving back when I was there.
Okay, good. So let's as a church, let's do something as a church. Let's participate together. Now I realize everybody can't do the same amount or whatever, but if you can, any kind of toy, right? Just a new toy.
Yeah, any kind of toy, new toy. Up to 12 years old. We go from 12 years old.
Up to 12 years old.
Kind of going for. A lot of times, the 12-year-old stuff lacks, so we try to buy like maybe earphones and like makeup kits for girls and stuff for older kids versus
Right.
But it's all accepted. And as far as the food drive as well, if you guys know any other churches who are in need that would like to set up their own giveaway, Joe's all about that. You can set up a time where you can send your church van or whatever you have down to pick it up and then take it back to your church and give it out. Because everybody can't make it to Homestead. We understand that, right? So, but I mean, there's so much there. He wants people to come and get it. So if you know any other churches who are in need, you can contact Jeff. He'll let me know.
What's the date of that again?
So that's the 15th and 16th. So Friday and Saturday is the food giveaway.
Okay.
I'll be there on Friday helping them do that.
Okay.
Saturday is my tour giveaway, so I'll be there doing that.
Right.
So if anybody wants to come on Friday, that's more comfortable with me being there, we can set that up because I'll be there all day Friday helping them out. And then Saturday, like I said, we'll do the tour drive. But the food drive is both days. So you can go there Saturday as well. I just won't be there on Saturday. But
Okay. All right, good. Thanks, Lionel. So appreciate it. Yeah, thanks so much. Why don't you stand with me on the closing prayer? Come next week, we're going to show how this whole idea of generosity and giving and all that started a long time ago. This isn't something new. Oftentimes we find that whatever modern psychology or science is now figuring out, it was always there. It just had decoded a little bit in the Bible. It's always been there. Because why? Because it's truth. It's just truth. Let's pray. Father, thank you so much for, first off, for Freedom Life Center, for the hearts of those that are here. I know we're such a giving church to begin with, God. So I thank you for that. Pray, God, that through this holiday season we can learn to, learn to even be more so, be more giving, be more generous in our life, God. We thank you for it all in Jesus' name. Amen. Thanks, friends.